Hi there, it's Liam here from Rating the Races. So, just two horses over hurdles that their marks are interesting. Both of them could potentially go to the races I suggest and run terribly for different reasons. But the first one I want to talk about is Kitty's Light, who's dropped £3 to 127 over hurdles. Currently rated 146 over fences, so what's that, £19 higher over fences. And I think it's just because Kitty's Light's able to run in races that are far enough. Last three good runs have been a win over 4 mile 1, a win over 3 mile 7, and a win over 3 mile 4. Ida Chase, Scottish National, Bet365. Because that's what the horse needs. It needs as far can go. However, it is incredibly well handicapped over hurdles in comparison. And it's all about whether they can keep it in contention and keep up with the rest of the field. I don't think they... For me, I think it's pointless running over 2.5, 2 mile 5, 2 mile 6 over hurdles. They're just going to get so far behind and potentially demoralise the horse coming into the Grand National, which is surely the main target. So I would go one more time over hurdles, and if that doesn't work, you then probably run in the Old Teamer at the Cheltenham Festival, or even then potentially go for something like, maybe the Ida Chase again before going Grand National. I know that would be some double, but I think the horse needs to have some good form coming into the race. So anyway, where would I go? I might be interested in running in, I think it's here, it might be here, let me just check, I should have loaded this up beforehand. This race here, this 3 mile 1 and 10 yards, so just over 3 mile, Pertemps qualifier for horses rated 0 to 145. So rated 127, wouldn't be carrying a lot of weight anyway. And it's probably as far as they can get over hurdles. You don't get many races over further than that over hurdles, and that's all they can do really over hurdles. It's on the 25th of January, and that would give me an idea as to whether the Pertemps final was a target. If he won the race, he was able to keep up and actually win at Huntingdon. If he didn't win that race, even if he qualified second, third, fourth, I wouldn't be going for the Pertemps final. I think that would be a waste of time because he's just going to find himself getting badly outpaced again, which could be what happens here. But if it isn't and he keeps up at Huntingdon and actually wins this race, I'd look at a very unusual route, but go Pertemps final Grand National with Kitty's Light. As I said, he could turn up here and find himself badly outpaced again and still run no sort of race at Huntingdon. The second horse that caught my eye was Soaring Glory, who dropped another £3 to 132. Now, 3 runs ago, he didn't run badly at Doncaster when finishing second behind Clear White Light. That came off a mark of 135, so he's actually dropped another 3 to 132 after that. Beat Mr. Freedom. Mr. Freedom had some decent form coming into it. Now, I just think there's one race that they could target. There's 2 races, actually, I think they could target. They could target the 2 mile Betfair Hurdle. They won it way back in 2021. They beat 50 Ball off a mark of 133. Now, he'd be run off 132. Normally, I'd go... yeah, but he might not just be the horse he was. He did run in 2022 in this race, off a mark of 147, and he finished 5th behind Glory and Fortune. I like to move it. First Street, Lord Baddesley, in front of Nappers Hill, in front of Boot Hill, in front of JPR1, in front of Jetoile, however you say that for the Ryan Potter horse. Off 147, he could run this year off a £12 lower mark just 2 years later after finishing 5th at 8 to 1. That's got to be the where they go with that. That's on the 10th of February. The Betfair Hurdle. I think you might get a price about him. I reckon he could be 25 to 1 for that. Just on the back of his most recent runs at Kempton, which might not have suited him, might have been the wrong way round. And his disappointing run at Doncaster. However, that was run essentially in a bumper. There were so many omitted hurdles that the form of that might not actually work out that well. It might not work that the best horses were at the front and the worst horses were at the back. You needed to be in the right position. And yeah, I'd hope to go back to his run at Doncaster where he finished second off 135 and potentially say that that's his form this season. And if he bounces back in the Betfair Hurdle off 1.32, a pound lower than when winning it, he would run a really big race. So there's only two. Kitty's like to try a Pertemps qualifier over 3 mile 1. If that doesn't work, then you scrap that. And I would be thinking genuinely of an Ida Chase as the lead up to the big race, the Grand National. And Soaring Glory back for the Betfair Hurdle off a £1 lower mark than when winning it, and a £12 lower mark than when finishing 5th in 2022.